Hello, Windows, hello. M3 MacBooks are amazing, but definitely not for everyone. They have their good sides, their bad sides. So I did some digging and found a couple of other laptops that can give you this power for less money. The cheapest M3 MacBook Pro costs $1,600, and I found a cheaper alternative from Acer. It's an Acer Swift X14. As the name suggests, it has a 14-inch display surrounded by an aluminum chassis, and I must say it doesn't look as appealing as the MacBook. Its sharp edges and generally boring design. However, this is a true sleeper, making really good internals in an unremarkable body.
Just like those LS swap.
Well, exactly. Intel Core i7 13700H processor, NVIDIA RTX 4050, 16 gigs of RAM, and 1 TB SSD. It packs quite a punch. The processor has 14 cores in total, 6 performance and 8 efficiency, which is more than the base M3. So any CPU-related work on this Acer will be faster, and that RTX 4050, it's an RTX. What else is there to say? 4050 will absolutely destroy the M3 in all ray tracing tasks, plus you can actually play games on this laptop. Aside from really impressive internals, the Swift X also has other things worth mentioning, like its display, which is a huge selling point. 14.5-inch 1800p OLED display with a maximum refresh rate of 120 Hz. It's an excellent display that looks great no matter the content you throw at it. I think it's very much on par with Apple's Pro Display XDR. The only way it is worth than the MacBook display is the brightness. Acer goes only up to 365 nits, which is noticeably less than 600 nits on the M3 MacBook Pro. But it's an OLED, and an OLED in many cases is better than Mini LED, especially when it comes to watching movies. All blacks in OLED look much better, and there is no annoying halo around bright objects and black background that you sometimes get in the MacBook. There's also a 1080p webcam, dual microphone array, 2 USB 4 ports with power delivery, 2 USB-A ports, 1 HDMI, and a 3.5mm headphone jack. But the best part is the price, because in Amazon right now it goes for $1,100, which is a steal. That's a lot of a laptop for that price. And by the way, I will leave links to all the laptops in the description, all the best deals on Amazon, so you don't have to search for them yourself. You know, no matter which laptop you choose to buy, organizing your life will always be vitally important. So tell me, do you ever feel lost in a sea of to-do lists? I used to be that person with paper journals and scraps of paper everywhere, but then I discovered Notion, and my life changed. In case you're from planet Venus, Notion is the ultimate organizational tool. It's easy to use, powerful, and customizable. I use it to create tasks, track progress, take notes, and plan everything from my day-to-day to my vacations. One of the things I love most about Notion is that it's all in one place. I don't have to switch between different apps to get my work done. I can see all my tasks, notes, and plans in one unified workspace. Notion is also great for collaboration. I can share pages with my team, and we can work on projects together in real time. This has been a lifesaver for me, especially when we're all working remotely. If you're looking for a powerful and versatile organizational tool, I highly recommend Notion. It's the perfect way to get your life together, so click the link in the description to try out yourself and see what all the hype is about. We both know that M3 has only 8 gigs of unified memory, so an upgrade to 16 is a must, which makes it an $1,800 Mac. A terabyte of storage would also be nice to have, so that's $2,000 already. Instead of spending that on a MacBook, you can spend it on a Lenovo ThinkPad Z16, and this one is interesting. 1, it's a ThinkPad, and that means it's quirky, and 2, it's customizable while ordering. So this will be a guide of sorts too. The laptop is made out of aluminum and painted black, just like the latest MacBook Pro. At a first glance, it looks ordinary, boring even, but then you see it. Webcam bump. It protrudes from the display lid and makes the laptop less symmetrical, but I do think it adds a nice touch. And it's a perfect way to hide a 1080p webcam with infrared scanner for that Windows hello. The keyboard looks okay and quite spacious. ThinkPads were always praised for their keyboards. Emmanuel. Track point, not a nipple. It's a signature piece of all ThinkPad laptops, and basically it works like a joystick for a mouse. I'm not a fan of it personally, but I think it can be useful after some time. As for the display, there are 2 options, a 1200p panel and a 2400p panel. That is $300 extra. I don't think it's really worth paying for, so you better stick to the default 1200p one. It has a max brightness of 473 nits and anti-reflective coating. The only downside is that it's only a 60 Hz panel. But But the best things are on the inside. AMD Ryzen 7 Pro, it's a $200 upgrade, but it's definitely worth it. The laptop also has 16 gigs of RAM by default, but I suggest paying for an upgrade to 32 gigs. The graphics card is AMD Radeon RX 6500M with 4 gigs of GDDR6 memory. It should be enough for most tasks and even some gaming. What I also suggest is leaving the storage at 256 gigs. Don't pay Lenovo for an upgrade, just buy the SSD yourself. It's gonna be much cheaper. Depending on how you spec this laptop, it can set you back around $1,700, which is a really good deal. Now, how about we trade, you and me? I give you good videos and you give me your likes, comments, and subscriptions. This is surely a great deal. So if you're getting value out of this video, smash the like button. Both laptops we've talked about have one thing in common. They are premium, made out of aluminum and packed with good specs, but the next laptop throws design or quality materials out the window with one goal: more power for less money. MSI Vector GP68HX 16-inch is definitely not a looker. Thick, entirely plastic with RGB and huge coolant vents, but where it lacks in looks, it more than makes up in specs. The 16-inch Full HD Plus IPS display with 165Hz refresh rate is perfect for high-end gaming and a bit less perfect for color-related work, but for editing videos, it should be more than enough. Especially with the i7 13700HX and RTX 4080. RTX 4080 is not a joke. Remember those performance graphs from Apple's events that show how M3 Pro can achieve the same performance as RTX cards at half the power? Those graphs have only one flaw. The performance of RTX cards surpasses Apple's creation without a sweat. Yes, this laptop needs constant connection to the outlet to show the best result, but who would go and work in a cafe with this monster? Add to that mix 16 gigs of fast RAM and 1TB SSD, that's enough for any workflow, from demanding video editing to game development. It even has a ton of I/O, 3 Type-C ports, 2 Type-A ports, SD card reader, HDMI Ethernet. Add to it Wi-Fi 6E and Bluetooth 5.3, same as in the MacBook Pro. If you need the most power for least amount of money, this is your guy. For $2,100, it really is an M3 Pro killer. But if you can't stand plastic laptops, then Razer Blade 14 could also be worth considering. Yeah, this Mercury color reminds me of the Starlight in MacBook Airs. This color is a $400 upgrade, but before you say that it's an outrageous pricing, I want to add that these $400 also upgrade the graphics card to 4070 and RAM to 32 gigs. And now it doesn't seem all that outrageous, quite a reasonable price. Anyway, looks really good, serious, sharp, and professional, really similar to MacBooks but lacks that refinement. It's more wild and raw, same speaker grills on both sides of the keyboard, big trackpad, reasonably sized keyboard. It's really hard to find something to argue about. The display is a 14-inch panel with 16:10 aspect ratio and 1600p resolution, which makes it a real contender to MacBook Pros. It also has a 240Hz refresh rate and supports DCI-P3, powered by Ryzen 9 and Z4070. This Razer is really a formidable foe for the MacBook Pro. It can game and is very capable of doing demanding work like video editing, 3D with ray tracing, programming. It can do it all and look great in the process. I must admit, the proper version of this laptop is $2,800, but if we were to spec the MacBook Pro the same way, it would have cost us more or less the same. So I think this is the closest we can get to a MacBook in terms of looks plus performance combo. The further we get from MacBooks in terms of power, the further we get in terms of looks. Yet there still are exceptions, and ROG Zephyrus G14 is one of them. I think it nails the blend of a professional laptop and a gaming powerhouse. It isn't as slick as Razer, but feels more free and unhinged than a MacBook. Aluminum body, big trackpad, good keyboard with a row of special buttons. Everything looks really well. It's again a 14-inch laptop, and the display has 1600p resolution at 165Hz plus DCI-P3, G-Sync, and anti-glare coating. Perfect for gaming and work, even serious color grading. This whole thing is powered by AMD Ryzen 9, 16 gigs of RAM, and RTX 4090 with 16 gigs of memory.
That's insane.
with 16 gigs of VRAM. 4090 will absolutely destroy any M3 chip, even M3 Max, especially in ray tracing stuff. But wait, 16 gigs of RAM? Yep, that's the weakest part of this laptop. But don't you worry, there is a slot for it, so you can always buy a second 16 gig stick and get 32 gigs. I think it's not that big of a price for an RTX 4090 in a laptop. This laptop is a real powerhouse and truly is a menace to any MacBook. At $3,300, it may seem like a questionable buy to some, but 4090 in a laptop, I think it's a very worthy alternative to the base M3 Max MacBook Pro. And the link to it is in the description as always. Windows laptops have taken a huge leap in recent years, and Intel and AMD's chips are closing the gap between Apple's creations. They also run more games than Macs and do it better, have less compatibility issues, and can be upgraded at will. Even Windows as an OS is quite good now. I did a video not so far back where I switched to Windows, and it's really fun. Anyway, thanks for watching and see you in the next one.